Well, at least Shingo Takagi and Tomohiro Ishii tore the house down to send the fans home happy. The rest of the stuff, well, let's talk about it. I'm John Retton with my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup 2022 Night 2 and 3 events. 2 shows humans had to be together into one video presented to you, and these will not take very long to cover because, really, outside of Shingo versus Ishii, there wasn't a lot of great stuff to talk about. That's not to say it was necessarily terrible. These are just 2 shorter shows because after night 1 that had all cup action, they had some filler tag matches and then some cup matches that varied in quality to say the least. I do also want to apologize for the delay in this review and any future reviews because I got a lot of work that I'm doing. I got some other projects, and also I'm just getting to these shows when I can because they're not worth watching live in my personal opinion. It's not that I don't appreciate the efforts of the various New Japan Pro Wrestling talents, but there just isn't that draw to watch this stuff live anymore. So anyway, Night 2, Kevin Kelly on commentary, Yuji Nagata versus Fujita. Typical, Fujita is improving, did get some good strikes in, but Nagata locked 2 for the victory. There you go. These undercard matches will not take me very long to talk about, and that's probably going to be a recurring theme until we get to the finals, provided that I even bother reviewing the rest of this tournament, because honestly, after some of the stuff on this, Tiger Mask, Hanma, and Makabe versus ELP, Gato, and Chase. Kevin Kelly kept talking about all the Bullet Club drama. Too sweet. I don't care about this Bullet Club drama. I don't give a single flying fuck about it. I know some people do. It's going on in Impact. It's going on in New Japan. It's going all over the goddamn world. And that whole concept is stretched so fucking thin. It's a husk of what it once was. Just, I know some people like it. I'm sorry. It's just not fucking for me. So yeah, this 6-man tag, ELP wins with a splash. There you go. Wasn't a bad match. It was what it was. Gato says, oh, Jay White kicked Guerrillas of Destiny out. That happened at one of the most recent Impact Wrestling events, so I imagine Guerrillas of Destiny will show back up in New Japan very soon. I'm talking as a formal unit, but also I wouldn't be surprised to see them, make some appearances for AEW, because they could certainly add some spice to the tag division. But again, this Bullet Club stuff it's not quite as bad as House of Torture. Don't worry, we'll get to that, but it's so basic, bitch. Man, I couldn't sound more white if I tried to sound, again, any more white. So, Tanahashi, Wato, and Taguchi took on Evil, Sho, and Yujiro with Dick Togo. House of Torture stuff. Fuck you, Gato, for putting this on my screen. Fuck you. Just fuck off with this shit. Tanahashi ends up hitting a low blow after a melee and gets a roll up 1, 2, 3. Yay! At least Tanahashi won. I'm worried Tanahashi ain't going to be wrestling after another year or two because, bless his heart, Iron Will, his knees are being held together by tissue paper and paper clips at this point. LIJ, minus Bushi, of course, who was wrestling in the main event, taking on Chaos members Okada, Ishii, Yano, and Yo. As expected, but it was fun. Ishii and Shingo doing a preview of their match that they will have for the main event of Night 3. And it wasn't bad. This was actually, it was certainly better than the other tag matches we got. And good action, as you would expect with LIJ and, of course, Okada leading, people and just saying, hey, let's just do this stuff. Let's just do this shit. And that's what they did. Skull End ends up tapping Yo. We get a post-match skirmish, and it was what it was. But this is something to check out. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's fun. And then Bad Luck Fale and Taiji Ishimori taking on the Great O-Cobb. Jeff Cobb and Saka Shit O-Khan. Man, pretty bad when O-Khan isn't the one person that's kind of slumming it in the ring. Fale should not be wrestling anymore. Fale can do training. He can do whatever. This was not very good. Give Cobb's a singles run. Whoever thought Fale and O-Khan should face off against each other should be brought up on crimes against pro wrestling. Grenade on O-Khan. 1, 2, 3. Not good. Not good at all. Poor Cobb. Hanare, Aaron Hanare, that is, taking on Yuto Nakashima. Nakashima has a good look. Hanare, I've been a fan of Hanare since I started watching New Japan again in 2018. He had just come back from an Achilles injury. And despite quarantine and a bunch of other stuff, he stayed in shape. He's improved his game quite a bit. And he did get a Rampage tackle, 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match, and it was a cup match. He advances. Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Oiwa. Never a dull moment when Zack Sabre Jr. wrestles. Oiwa got in some good offense, though, and he did end up falling into a heel hook, but Oiwa didn't look out of place here. Obviously, Zack Sabre Jr. was going to win. He did end up winning convincingly, but Oiwa did pretty well. Bushi taking on Will Ospreay. Hey, we get a bunch of ref bumps, and Ospreay wins with the hidden blade. You know, New Japan doesn't have to put on 5-star events every single goddamn time, and yes, the pandemic has sort of affected them because the crowd can't cheer. I hope that changes at some point, and I understand as cases drop and all that. But it's getting... even if you put the cheers in with this, I don't think the fans would be cheering that much. A lot of them would be booing because a lot of this House of Torture stuff and whatever. So maybe they got to improve things. They got to improve things really goddamn fast, especially for the G1 since it's back in the summer. Kevin Kelly, Chris Charlton on commentary for Night 3. United Empire taking on Tanahashi, Makabe, Hanma, and Oiwa. The usual fare. Rampage tackle on Oiwa. 1, 2, 3. Let's move on. Naito, Sonata, and Bushi take on the ELP, Ishimori, and Yujiro. Okay, I'm done with the Bullet Club bullshit. I'm done with the House of Torture Bullet Club bullshit. I don't care. CR2 on Bushi. 1, 2, 3. Could we get possible tension between the Ishimori and ELP? I don't know. I don't care. I don't. I'm willing to give praise to great things in New Japan, and there are some great talents even in some bad stables. But when it gets to the point that's so fucking repetitive, nobody fucking cares. The vast majority of people don't, at least. Based solely on the fact that very few people are talking about this New Japan Cup tournament. Very few of my mutual, very few people in general. The wide net that New Japan used to have to capture more fans and bring them in, it just is shrinking and shrinking, or there's holes in the net and people are escaping and they're going to other promotions, and it's sad. Plus, they got New Japan Strong, and that's actually kind of a decent promotion, even though it's not great. It was great to be part of the New Japan Strong tapings. It just finished up being broadcast on New Japan World in historic Washington Hall. Check out my reviews of those. Suzuki-gun, El Desperado, Kanemaru, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, and Doki against Chaos members Okada, Yano, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo. Wow, that's a lot of people in this goddamn match for a match that was what it was. And a cross-arm breaker taps out Yo. Moving on. Chase and Jado in a cup match. You what? Oh, fuck off with this shit. You want me to watch a Chase Owens match? You want me to watch Jado in a fucking match? C-Trigger. And Chase, 16. I'll pretend you said 18. Owens gets the victory. Allegedly. Allegedly with that. I mean, he actually got the victory. More Bullet Club bullshit. Evil and Taguchi. Dear God, House of Torture stuff. Help me. Fucking help me. Help me. Spock, help me. Taguchi nearly had. He did get a double ankle lock. God, if only Dick Togo was actually written off of this program for good. Everything is evil. 1, 2, 3. Sho versus Hiromu. Hey, look, we get House of Torture possibly attacking Hiromu backstage. Sho, who's in House of Torture, ends up hitting Hiromu with a chair, and we could have gotten some good action. And I understand having to make people as, hated heels as you possibly can to see them get defeated, but it's the same repetitive bullshit. He brings the wrench out. He does all the shit. Yujiro comes out. And then suddenly it looks like Sho's going to get the victory. No. The most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling. A surprise roll-up. 1, 2, 3. And Hiromu advances. Okay, so at least that happened. But Sho, Evil, and just anybody else that's involved in this Bullet Club bullshit, there are very few standouts. And that's only when they don't rely on all this interference and all this stuff that is so played out. It was so played out 20 years ago, or 25 years ago, like whatever, when the NWO was doing it, and all that stuff. It's even more played out now, and way less fucking people are watching. So, Tomohiro Ishii and Shingo Takagi in a great clubbering match. It's a clubbering, if you will. It was just great, great action. Big superplex by Shingo. Some great action. Near falls just for a 1 count. These guys are just beating the shit out of each other. Not tearing the walls down, even though they could have, because they're just that goddamn strong. And we get Last of the Dragons 1, 2, 3. This is what we're checking out. This is something I can't really summarize that quickly in a review, at least properly. Good stuff. Really, fantastic main event, and exactly what it needed to be. The thing is, though, I'm going to see how this review does, guys, because if you don't see me review the rest of the New Japan Cup until the finals, don't be shocked. Because some of it was just basic, but that House of Torture stuff, it's just gotten to the point where it's like New Japan has hit a goddamn wall. They can't scamper over it. They keep trying to hammer themselves through the goddamn wall, and all they're giving themselves is a fucking head injury times 10, times infinity, which explains Gato, Dick Togo, and whoever the fuck else is putting these shows together. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.